Hey everyone, I wanted to do notes a little bit differently from Khan Academy this time because they jump right into box and whisker plots, but I wanted to take a little baby step and go over the 5-number summary before we do box and whisker plots and the 5-number summary all together. So the 5-number summary is 5 different values in data, and all 5 of those values are used in making the box and whisker plot. So the first value that we're going to find is the minimum. So the minimum is just going to be the smallest number in the data. So when I look at my example down here, the smallest number, the minimum, is going to be 1. Then we have quartile 1. So quartile 1 is the first 25% of data, and I like to think of quartiles kind of like quarters, because quarters are 25, 50, 75, and then you have 100 or 100%. So quartile 2, you can abbreviate it as Q2. That's the median, and we've talked about the median before. That's just the middle value. So it makes sense that the median, or quartile 2, is 50% of the data. It's halfway. Quartile 3 is the first 75% of data, and the maximum is going to be the largest number in the data set. So when you have a problem that asks you to find the 5-number summary, you look at your data set, and first you have to determine if it's written in order from least to greatest. So this example that I have is not. We're going to have to rewrite that in order from least to greatest. So the order, the first number, would be 1, then 2, then 4, 7 and 8, 13, 14, 15, and 22. So now that's written in order from least to greatest. Now I can find my 5-number summary. So I'm going to take a second and set this problem up. So the first thing we're going to find is the minimum. Then quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and the maximum. So those are the 5 values that I'm looking for in this data set. The minimum and the maximum are really easy to find because these are just the first and the last number. The smallest number is 1, and the maximum is the biggest number, which is 22. Then we should find quartile 2 because that's the median. It's going to be the number in the middle. So I'm going to kind of cross off the numbers at the end until I get to the middle. So I'm going to cross off 1 and 22, 2 and 15, 4 and 14, and 7 and 13. So I have 8 in the middle, and that's the median, and that's 50% of the data. Then I'm looking to find quartile 1 and quartile 3. So the quartile 1 is going to be 25% of the data. It's going to be the middle of the bottom half. So it's going to be, I'm going to cross off 1 and 7, and then the middle is between 2 and 4. So you can either think of it like this: the number between 2 and 4 is 3, or if it's a little bit harder to tell if the numbers aren't right next to each other, you can use the median property where you add the numbers together, 2 plus 4, and then divide by 2. So 2 plus 4 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So quartile 1 is 3. Then we need to find quartile 3, and that's going to be the middle of this second half of data. So I'm crossing off 13 and 22, and then between 14 and 15. So the number between 14 and 15, you could either think it's 14.5, or if you didn't know that, you would add 14 plus 15, and then divide by 2. So that would be 29 divided by 2, and 29 divided by 2 is 14.5. And that's how you find the 5-number summary.